One of the reasons why building electric guitars is so addictive is because we're constantly trying to achieve that lofty goal of perfection. It's sort of like dangling a carrot at the end of a stick in front of a donkey. The carrot represents perfection, and we're the donkey. We keep trying to take a bite, but we can just never seem to reach it. However, what we don't realize is at the end of the day, we suddenly arrived at a new destination. Hey guys, remember this guitar? This is the 4-string precision bass inspired guitar that I assembled over the course of 21 episodes. And at the end of that last episode, I had featured some photographs of the finished guitar so you could see how it turned out. And I also included an audio sample of what it sounds like played clean. In this episode, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Over the years, when I was first learning to build guitars, every time I would build a guitar, I would learn something new. And oftentimes it was a little detail that I had never seen discussed or written about or demonstrated in a video anywhere before. So, I thought it would be kind of interesting to share with you some of the things that I would do differently if I were to do this bass again. And there's a good possibility I may make more of these. They may not have the same finish and may have a few different components, but if I was going to build another one of these, there are a couple of things that I would do differently. So let me explain what those are. First of all, this is a 34-inch scale instrument, and I didn't have a clamping caul to clamp my fretboard to the neck when I glued the two together. As a result, I just used clamps and hoped for the best. Well, the best didn't occur. There were some issues trying to get a seamless matchup between the fretboard and the neck. And that kind of bothered me. So I've decided in the future, if I make another one of these, I will definitely make a clamping caul specifically for this scale length. Another thing I'll do that's kind of along the same vein is I'm going to get a notched straight edge for this length, scale length. And you can purchase those from a number of different sources. However, if I can't find one, I have been known in the past to take one of those long, like 4-foot long aluminum rulers, and then I'll just cut notches with a Dremel and a cutting wheel that line up with the frets. And it gets basically the same job done. It may not be a precision ground edge, but there's some debate as to whether that's really necessary anyway. So I definitely would want to get a precision or a notch straight edge so that I could check to make sure that the fretboard is level before I start doing any of my fretwork. Another change that I would make has to do with the position of the side marker dots. And I decided I wanted to do it differently than the way Fender typically does it. I wanted to drill and position those marker dots right between the top edge of the fretboard and the glue seam. So right in that center of that space. That would probably work in most situations, but the problem I had with this instrument is I've got a 7¼ inch fretboard radius. And that's pretty round. As a result, I kind of exposed one of my marker dots up here. And this is the 17th fret marker dot. And from the top, it was exposed during the sanding process. So I think what I will do in the future is I will position those dots. I will either have them lined up with the glue seam, which will put them down lower. Unfortunately, that can cause them to disappear up where the pickguard is, but that's no big deal. Another alternative would be to come up with a design that places the fret marker dots on the top of the fretboard and then kind of extending down over the side. Might be kind of an interesting way to do it. So we'll see. It's something I'd have to kind of experiment and see, whether I like it or not. Before I continue with this video, I wanted to remind you to like, comment, and share this video as a way to support my channel. If you would like to do more, you can either click the thanks button down below and leave a tip in the amount that you choose, or you can visit my YouTube store, which is displayed below the description for this video. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any future guitar building videos. Now, another change that I would make, and if you watched how I was wiring up the electronics for this guitar, you'll know that I foil lined the control cavity. I also put foil on the back of the pickguard. And one of the things I think I would do, especially for the back of the pickguard, is use one large sheet of foil. If you watch that video, you'll notice I'm cutting off little pieces of foil and putting it all over. And it just kind of looks hinky, It's not really a premium way to make a guitar. So I would opt for getting a larger piece of foil to do that whole surface of the back of the pickguard. And then possibly for the cavities itself, just to speed up the process of shielding, I might just opt for some shielding paint. It works just as well. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think it looks a little bit more professional than lots of little pieces of copper foil tape. And then another thing I would do differently is I've got to revisit the cam strategies that I used to cut the pickguard out. And the issue I had was cutting the beveled edge with my 90-degree V-bit. I'm not sure if I was going too fast or if it was too slow or the RPMs weren't right. I'm not really sure what it was. But fortunately, I've got some extra pickguard material, so I can do some experimenting to dial in that feed and speed rate. Because as it stands right now, it's a little rough around the edges. It's not as smooth as I would like it to be. And I think that can be improved upon. So that would be another thing that I would consider changing. And other than that, I've got to say I'm pretty happy with how the instrument turned out. So I can't really think of anything else that I might do differently. Just those items that I mentioned. So hopefully that kind of gives you some insight of things to consider when you're building a guitar. Even if you're following a detailed plan or maybe following a series of steps that are outlined in a book, there are going to be details that you may not think about, but you will encounter at some point during the build. And then when you're done, you're going to think, boy, if I had it to do all over again, this is how I would have done it. That is exactly what gets us hooked into building guitars. Because it seems like you're always chasing after that perfect build. And I could have probably achieved that many, many years ago if I had been making the same guitar over and over and over again. But every guitar build I do, I change it up somehow. I might change the scale length, I might change the type of pickups, I may make some tweaks to the body. But any of those changes that I make sort of renders that project unique and new. And along the way, I can expect to learn something new. So I think what I'm going to do in the future as I continue making videos is I'm going to share with you a follow-up where I talk about the things that I would do differently or what I learned along the way, because those are the details that I think that you can put to work for yourself as you improve your skills building guitars. So hopefully all that makes sense and you get something out of this video. And until the next episode, as always, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you soon.